Hi everyone, this is Joe with another video. For this video, I'm going to be linking this video to I'm doing this video for my Big Six Tower shareholders page. Because it makes it easier for me to upload to YouTube and then link it to Facebook, because they have restrictions on how much space you can upload, how much space a video could take up, and they have a space limit on Facebook. So it's easy for me to do it for YouTube and then link it over to Facebook. The subject of this video I'm doing for my Big Six shareholders page, a discussion page, is an incident that had been brought up with me with a post I previously made about all this pervert and pedophile thing that's been going on between myself and Jimmy Hellman's, I should say the late Jimmy Hellman's family, and why there's so much, well, not lately, but a lot of stuff that's going on between the Hellman family and I, and unfortunately the hatred is still there, even though it's died down quite a bit. Excuse the pun. I'm sorry to use that term, because unfortunately Jimmy, of course we all know, passed away 5 years ago, and I'm sorry to use that term. But I just wanted to set the record straight of why there's so much hatred there. I mean, it's really gotten to a point of ridiculousness. These neighbor war between the Hellman family and myself, it's really gotten ridiculous all over this page. What happened was, for those of you who were not on the page at that time, Jimmy Hellman was one of the first people who were on the page when it first created back in September 2012. Within a month or so, Jimmy was, and I don't think within the first month, I think within the first 2 weeks, after I created this page in September 2012, Jimmy joined the page, and he was on there. He was contributing to the page, making posts and stuff. And then all of a sudden, he spent most of his posts, for some reason, attacking me. I don't know why he was attacking me. I didn't know him before. I never met. At that point, I never met the guy. Because I know most of you know that I lived in Building 5 for 12 years, from 1972 to 1984, and I've been living in Building 3 since then. Since December 1984 up to now, I've been living in Building 3. So I think Jimmy or his family moved in to Building 5 after I transferred from one building to another, from Building 5 to Building 3. So I never really knew him. I never really knew his family. But apparently, he made his life mission when he was on this page to trash me and to trash my family. So that's what he was doing. It started when I was making posts about the stray cat issue that we had here in Big Six, which for me was a big deal at that time, and the thing that I was mostly complaining about back then. And Jimmy kept posting, "This is not a Big Six issue." Talking about the stray cats around Big Six, and I don't remember exactly who it was. So I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank with the name. I forgot who it was, but somebody posted, "Jimmy, if this is going on Big Six property, it's a Big Six issue." And I repeated that mantra, the mindset, and I said, "Look, it's going on here on the property. That's what I'm discussing on this page, because it's happening on a property. If it wasn't happening on a property, you wouldn't be discussing it or posting something on it." But Jimmy kept, antagonizing me over it. He just tried to keep pushing my buttons as much as possible. That's why I kept him. Unfortunately, kept him long on the page as possible, because I figured, okay, let him rant, let him get all the venom and vitriol of a system, and I was kind of hoping against hope. And there was no wishful thinking, but but I was kind of hoping that he would get all the venom out of his system and get his ranting out. But unfortunately, he just kept on doing it. And not only with the stray cat issue, but also every time when we used to have info meetings, about every month or every other month we have an info meeting. And so what happened was that not only did I advertise the meetings, but I would actually go to the meetings, sit in, find out what's going on, and then either that night or the next day, as if I had time that very night to type it up, or to type up a post. If not that night, the next day, I would write a post about what happened, what was discussed in the meeting. I will cover the big issues, like the key field lease was discussed, or even though I forgot to put in the key field lease in one post, and somebody asked me about it. So yeah, that's right, it was discussed. And somebody called me out on it, and they forgot about it. But anyway, I would discuss what big issues were discussed in the meeting, what issues were brought up. And of course, Jamie would write a post saying, hey, was accusing me, I should say, of making up this stuff, making up all these issues that was brought up in the meetings. And of course, those of you who were at the meetings knows I wasn't making any of this stuff up. So somebody, I forgot, I'm sorry drawing blank on that, because don't forget, this is like 7-8 years ago now. So it's been a while. Somebody wrote, hey Jimmy, at least he goes to meetings. Well, you don't go to the meetings. You're just sitting there in front of your computer and ragging on Joe all the time. He's providing us information. He takes the time to go down to these meetings, tell us what's going on, and all you're doing is giving him crap. Somebody, I'm paraphrasing what they wrote. Was one person wrote, and then I jumped on that and I said, hey, Jimmy, why don't you show up at the meetings and find out if I'm actually lying or not about what's discussed? I said I'm out there. I said, first of all, you're accusing me of making up stuff. Well, if you come down to the meeting, if you actually show up and come down to the meetings, that I'm not, making any of this stuff up. And eventually, especially after when I threw him off the page, which I'm going to get into in a minute, that's when he started showing up in meetings, and then he realizes that I wasn't making it up about what was discussed in meetings, so he pretty much dropped it. One last thing for him to rag on me over. But every time, he was ragging on me saying I'm making up stuff, or with the straight cat issue, he was saying, oh, this is not a big issue, and all this type of thing, nonsense. So I told him, Jimmy, if you don't cut this stuff out, you're not going to leave me if you don't stop with the trash talking, you're not going to leave me much of a choice but to kick you off the page, to throw you off. I mean, I gave him about 5 or 6 warnings, and he didn't give a damn. I was warning him. And of course, he said, the magic words, you don't have the authority to kick me out. And I forgot who it was. Like I said, I'm sort of drawing a blank on the names. Said to him, Jim, trying to cool down both myself and Jimmy. Says, hey, Jimmy, Joe has the right. He created this page. He's the administrator on this page. He has the authority to kick you off. You're acting like a jerk, and you're acting like a jerk right now. But Jimmy, he doesn't give a damn. He really didn't, because he tried to keep antagonizing me all the time. True, Jimmy did have a physical, problem. He did have epilepsy. But that doesn't. I knew somebody who had epilepsy, but that doesn't change the person's personality or affect or how they treat people and stuff. Jimmy was just trying to push my buttons and wasn't because I let him stay on the page longer than I should have let him be on there, because of the way he was trying to figure, okay, it was a shit. I don't want to kick someone out, because I don't want to be, that mean about. Because if I kick them out, if I kick people, every single person who's on the page who disagrees with me, there'll be nobody on the page. I don't kick people out. I ain't throwing people off if they're being a jerk about it. And if they wrote a post that was so disgusting, like with John McMullen when he wrote, no more than a year ago when I threw him off because he wrote such a disgusting post, and I had to throw him out. Of course, there was a post with that John liked to read posts of the mentally challenged. I gave him a chance to apologize or to take back his comment. He never did. To this day, he still has it to this day. So I had to throw him off. So, by Jimmy's case, I gave him so many opportunities to change his attitude and to stop ragging on me, but he never did. So he continued to act like a jerk. And of course, the post that really made me remove him was the post where we had a public safety meeting in the community room in Building 2, and I think it was in July, in the summer, and I wrote what was discussed in the meeting. And of course, Jimmy, being the jerk that he was, says, "Oh, you didn't talk about the cats, Joe? You didn't talk about the cats? The stray cats." And he said, "Okay, that at that point I had enough," and so I threw him off. Within 20 minutes after me throwing him off, he wrote on Alan Benovich's Big Six page, Alan's Big Six page, wrote, "Ha ha ha! Big Joe Gutfeld can't take it." And I said, now he's trying. It's bad enough he's trashing me on my own page. Now he's trashing me on somebody else's page. And I was surprised that Alan never threw, Jimmy off of his page because he was trashing me over. Well, don't forget, Alan allows people to trash me on his page. But sticking with what I have with Jimmy, I thought, and when I saw that post on Alan's page, I reported him to Facebook for harassment. And the problem is, with Facebook, and it's one of the many problems with Facebook, is that if you complain about somebody for harassment, and if Facebook agrees with you, or agrees, yes, this is harassment, they will throw the person off or suspend that person's account for like 24 hours. That's it. And you can never again complain about this person. Right? So what I did was, I did complain about him, and he was suspended for 24 hours. So what happened was, Jimmy got his mother involved. I contacted his mother. His mother was on the page, and she contacted him. And of course, I don't have the 240 people on the page then I guess, as I do now. I think I have maybe I don't remember how many people exactly. I think it was not even 100 people. Shareholders at the time. I don't think it was even 100 people on the page at that time. She contacted every single person who was on that page and demanded that they leave the page because her son got me, because I had the nerve to remove her son, so she was, and she had every right to defend her son, but her son is a big boy, he could defend himself, but he had to have his mother to defend him. Contacted every single person on the page, demanding that do two things. One, complaining about the page to Facebook, and two, leave the page. She wanted everybody to leave this page. Well, I don't know how many people actually complained, because I never received a notice from Facebook about a complaint about the page. I never received anything. To this day, I have not received anything about any complaints about this page. And to this date, like 8 years later, and I have never received one complaint notice from Facebook saying that somebody complained about the page. I haven't received anything, even from Kevin Doyle. Okay, I know Kevin Doyle's probably been complaining about this page like crazy over the years. I haven't received a official notice from Facebook saying there was been a complaint against my page or this page. Nothing. So anyway, she only one put with Jimmy's mother did, or Elaine Hellman, I should say. That's her name, Elaine. Only one person left. That's it. So it goes to show you that they didn't take her complaint seriously because those of you who on the pages that know that I gave Jimmy about 5 or 6 chances to set things right or to stop his nonsense, and he didn't stop. He just didn't stop. So he left me no choice but to remove him. I mean, I can kill him out with anybody, but if I told you, say, hey, if I tell you don't do that again, about 5 or 6 times, and you still keep doing it, still antagonizing me, you're going to be removed from the page. And like I said plenty of times, if you disagree with me on a point, that's one thing. And we'd like to have a nice, healthy debate, back and forth between myself and you guys. But if you're just posting stuff to antagonize me, to push my buttons, I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm just not going to tolerate it. And I give you one warning, and I ask you to knock it off. But if you keep doing it, just to push my buttons, you're going to be removed, or at the very least suspended. First you get suspended, and then if you do it, as a warning. First I give you a warning, then I give you a suspension, and then I'm going to remove you. If you keep trying to antagonize me. But that's what Jimmy was doing. He was constantly antagonizing me, and so like I said, the guy left me no choice but to remove him. I didn't want to remove him. I don't want to remove anybody. But if you act like this, it doesn't leave me no choice. So what Jimmy did was, when he found out that not only did I removed, but he was suspended for 24 hours, he ran he didn't walk, he ran to the management office, okay? And he talked to public safety, and he complained to him, how dare you have this guy, meaning me, running this page for Facebook for Big Six Towers. Now he shouldn't even, because according to him, I'm so power hungry that I created this page, and if you don't kiss Joe's rear end, he will throw you off. I never said that you have to kiss my rear end. If people really were kissing my rear end, they would have elected me to the board 4 times. But that never happened. None of you elected me to the board. If it was really power hungry, it would have been elected to the board. If people really want to kiss my behind, they would have elected me to the board, and you'll see how power hungry I really am, right? But unfortunately, that hasn't happened yet. But according to Jimmy and some people who were posted at the time, claimed that I was power hungry. When I threw Jimmy out, or threw a couple of other people out. But it's only because, if you act like a jerk, I'm not going to tolerate any of that stuff. If you disagree with me, fine, but you don't have to act like a jerk about it. And you don't have to try to people get off on bullying me, okay? I have to say it. And Jimmy was getting off on bullying me, and trying to push me around. And that's it. And last time somebody did that, I threw him. When I was in junior high school, last time somebody tried to do that, I pulled through the locker. Literally pulled through the locker. So I don't, even back then, even back in elementary school, I didn't tolerate any of that stuff. But Jimmy was constantly doing that. And he was complaining to management, how dare you have this guy run this page? Or be an administrator on this page? And I think David Becker was the manager then. He told Jimmy the truth, that Big Six Towers has nothing to do with any Facebook pages. That was the policy then, and that's the policy now. They don't have anything to do with Facebook. They don't endorse any pages, Big Six pages on Facebook. They just don't do it. That's because of the so-called misinformation. Well, and Big Six Towers actually has decided to have a Facebook page that will end the misinformation, or the rumor mill, in my opinion. If they actually endorse either my page or make up their own Facebook page, they will end the misinformation, or they end the the rumor mills that goes on within our co-op. But Jimmy was mad that I removed him from the page, and so management told him. I don't know if he went as far as contacting the board. At that point, I don't know. I just know he definitely talked to management about it. And management told him, I said, look, he does. If you now no board member or the board of the management of Big Six Towers endorses any Facebook pages. And if you act like a jerk, like you're acting now in the offer, if you misbehave on a page, of course the person who wants the page, or the shareholder wants it, has every right to throw you off the page for acting the way you're acting. So that's why he got. And not only did Jimmy drag his mother into it, but he also threatened. After he had a discussion with management and public safety, Jimmy actually threatened me. He introduced himself to me, and it was the only time I actually met. It was the first time I actually met the guy face to face. And he said to me, "You play with fire." He actually pointed out blank, threatened me. He says to me, "You play with fire, you get burnt." And not only he said that, but it was also following me around the co-op. At that point, he was literally stalking me. And I complained about safety. So look, this guy's following me around. And he not only was he following me around, but he threatened me on top of that. So that's it. And of course, when Jimmy's 24-hour suspension was over, he decided to create his own page, which was a real Big Six Tower shareholder page, which is still up. His mother wants to be, and let me tell you, he doesn't even have like 60 people on that page. Because that last time a friend of mine told me that, hey, he's only got like 60 people on there. And said that all this time, 7 years, he only has like 60 people. And look how many people I have on this page after 8 years. About 240. I have 240 members on this page. Right, the only page that Big Six page has more people than this one is Alan's page. But don't forget, a lot of people who's on Alan's page, a lot of them, not all of them, a lot of them don't currently live here anymore. Alan's page, and even Kevin's page, he has like 95 people, and I have like 240. But fortunately, I wish I had 240 votes in the election. Would have gotten elected this year, the way the election came out. But and now they're picking over that. But still, after when the thing that made me laugh about what Jimmy's page was the fact he was doing on his page what he was accusing me of doing, and that was writing stuff that has absolutely nothing, and it had absolutely nothing to do with Big Six Towers. He was complaining about all the soccer games that's going on in Big Bush Park, the field right across from us, and on the other side of the BQE on map. He was complaining about the noise because you hear the constant blowing of whistles from the referees in the soccer games. It goes on the field here. Complaining over that. He was talking about there was like a fire and the stupid nursing home across the street. He was complaining about an accident that was in the tunnel going up the up ramp on the BQE. He was talking about stuff that has absolutely zero to do with the co-op. And so the only post one of the few posts he made about Big Six had to do with me and my sister and I should say. One post that really got me ticked off was that he was accusing, or he claims that he saw me walk one way, my sister walking the other way, and claims that my sister had a big loaf of bread to give to the pigeons on the corner. A 60-foot, I'm talking about 61st Street, Queens Boulevard corner, near the, the ramp that goes up to the shopping center, the big circle one. There's one in that corner, 61st and Queens Boulevard side of our co-op. I got ticked off, and I got ticked, and of course I tried to, complaining about harassment. They go harassing me, and then of course I found out, like I mentioned earlier, that if you complain about somebody once harassing you, and they get suspended for it, or the person you complain about gets suspended for it, you can't complain a second time. They won't suspend them a second time. So, but then I knew when I found out that Jimmy's that eventually. Well, before I get to this point, let me backtrack a second. Because I was complaining to Jimmy that doing what, unfortunately, got dragged down to his level, and I was complaining, this is not a Big Six issue. This is not a big. I was writing that on every post that has absolutely nothing to do with Big Six Towers, themselves, what's going on with the board, or what's going on with blackouts and stuff like that. And we're going to have next week a power failure, but. I'm probably going to remind for the power failure, but we're going to have next week. But and for now, I was writing after post after post that Jimmy wrote that had nothing to do with Big Six, like with the accident in BQE or the soccer games and complaining about the noise and stuff like that. Jimmy threw me off the page, but I didn't do what he did. That's went to management over it. Because I didn't act like that. It didn't, throw a hissy fit and go over there. But I knew that Jimmy's young daughter at the time had a Facebook page. So, and since I couldn't get to him, I said, okay, I'm going to report his daughter being underage on Facebook. Because you have to be at least 13 years old to have a Facebook account. And I knew that for some time that Jimmy's daughter had a Facebook page. And now I think she's about like 12 years old now. And I think next year, 2021, she's going to be 13, so she can have a Facebook account then. But by that time, she was underage and didn't have a. That's supposed to be on Facebook if you're 13 years old. So what I did was I complained that you have someone who's underage, and so of course Facebook removed the daughter. I'm leaving her name out of it. I know what her name is, but I'm leaving her name out of it. Miss Hellman's page or account, removed her account, and of course once again Jimmy complained to management that I had the nerve. Even though those things are, if you complain about somebody's Facebook account and the person's account gets removed or suspended, and that's the person whose account gets suspended is supposed to know who complained about you. But I guess Jimmy figured out that I was the one who, complained about his daughter being underage and having a Facebook account. So what happened was, Jimmy. Of course, actually Big Six and the management and public safety are not going to do anything about it because, they have no control of Facebook or what they do and that type of thing. They have no control over it. So that night, my sister just came up from finishing doing the laundry. It's about like 7:15 in the evening, watching Jeopardy. About 10 minutes later, I got a knock on the door and it was public safety. I opened the door. And I saw someone wrote on my door, on my apartment door, "Joe is gay," and put a fish on the doorknob. And if you look at the pictures on the page, to scroll down on all the pictures, you eventually will see it because I posted those pictures on the page here. What Jimmy did, and he did do it, and no doubt about it, because they caught him on camera. Of course, unfortunately, there's no video footage of him actually doing it, but he was on the elevator at the time of this incident. They came up to my floor. Somehow he got into the building. Either he followed somebody in, or he buzzed someone in, and he knew here, and lives in building 3. Comes in, gets on the elevator, comes up to the 14th floor, goes right to my apartment. I don't know how he found out what apartment I was in, but I guess I think we had the old intercom system then, so you had my name and apartment number on the intercom. He comes up, and he took like a Sharpie or a magic marker. I wrote Jordan's game, put a fish. I don't know what this fish is supposed to represent. But I put it on across the doorknob. Maybe implying to be sleeping with the fishes or something. So what I did was, there's only so much the public safety. And public safety was by my door all night. I'm protecting my door all night because I don't know if Jimmy was going to come back or not. What I did was I called 911 and filled out a police report for vandalism. And the police wanted to call it a hate crime, but there was a problem. And said the problem is that I'm not a homosexual. Contrary to public belief, I'm not a homosexual. I'm not gay or anything like that. So what happened was I got the file number from the 108 precinct. I called them up the next day, and unfortunately, closed the case. It's a way when you close the case, you didn't even talk to the guy who I believe did it. You have on a surveillance video. They came up to my floor, and meanwhile, all they did was all management did was they talked to Jimmy and they told me that don't do it again. Step him on the wrist, and that's it. That's all he did. Of course, a little more than a year later, he passed away. A little more than a year later. But I was considering suing him for it, and before I could get around to go down to the courthouse and file a lawsuit, he passed away. So filed a lawsuit before he did to my door. And what happened was, I think it was around I think the next year. That's when the whole pervert thing came about. What happened was, it was the first full day. I know I posted this before. It was the first day of summer vacation for the kids. It was a Friday afternoon. I'm walking around on the property like I do by every day. I got to where the playground was between building 6 and 7. It was on the 60th Street side, a path on 60th Street. And the boys, building 6 and 7. And I got to where the playground was. I walked to where the playground was, and I saw that the playground was full of kids. I'm like, holy crap, the playground's full of kids, Which you never see for the rest of the summer. Because the kids either go to summer camp, whether it be day camp or sleepaway camp, or they enrolled in some summer school program because either bad grades or they want to get advantage on the classmates and they enroll in some summer school program when the parents might work or something. And so you don't see the playground that full of kids. I mean, they used to. When I was a kid growing up here in Big Six, you did, but for the last, let's say, 30 years or so, you haven't been seeing that much, unfortunately. And now you really don't see it because of the virus. But there's neither here or there. So I can say, hey, it would be a good idea to take a picture of the kids playing in the playground for this page. That's my idea. Right? True, it wasn't exactly the best idea, but I thought it would be, do something positive for this page for a switch. Instead of, posting negative stuff all the time, either myself or some of you who have posted negative stuff, and figure, okay, let me do something positive. And take a positive photograph and post it on the page. That's what I wanted to do. So I turned my camera. I still on the 60th Street sidewalk. I know on the inside sidewalk, or one of the sidewalks that dips down the hill into the playground. I wasn't over there. I was on the sidewalk, the public sidewalk. I took my regular digital camera out, my still picture camera out, and went click, one picture. I took a wide shot of the playground. Jimmy's either sister or sister-in-law who was there with Jimmy's daughter saw me take the picture. Comes up the path that's closest to Building 6 in the nursery school. That path is right there. For those of you who know, it's right by the nursery school. That path. She comes up the path, confronts me. He said, "Hey, why are you taking pictures of the kids?" I said, "I'm taking pictures of the playground." I said, "I'm not taking a picture of one particular kid," because she was accusing me of taking a picture of one particular kid. And that was Jimmy's daughter, which I wasn't. I didn't even know at the time what she looked like. I still don't know what she looks like. Right? And with my eyesight, I'm foresight, so I couldn't tell who was who from the distance. I really couldn't. And I'm serious. I really couldn't tell who was who in the distance. So what I did was I deleted the picture on my phone. Normally I wouldn't do it, because I'm a photographer. You can't ask somebody to delete a picture that you took. I mean, you can ask, but you're not going to be that successful. I decided to take the high road and say, okay, did the wrong thing. Take pictures of the kids in the playground, did the wrong thing. Okay, delete the picture. And deleted it right in front of her. I wasn't hiding a thing. But that wasn't good enough for her. She decides to complain to, not normally if a person's mind was working, so okay, situation is dissolved. After doing a wrong thing, and trying to correct the wrong thing, and it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough for her. She decided, okay, let's drop the. If she was in the right mindset, said, okay, he corrected the wrong. Let's drop the whole thing, and that's it. Shake hands. That's it. But she didn't do that. She kept pressing it, and she just said, because I guess he knew who he was, and the rivalry between and the crap that was going on between Jimmy and I, decided to press charges on me. And she complained to public safety about it. And of course, something like this, I spoke to Jerry from public safety, what's going on, and I showed him that the picture is not there. And the only person in the world who knows what a picture looks like. The only one. But what happened was, after when she was satisfied, Jimmy's sister or sister, after she was satisfied that the picture was not there, she walked away from me and she called me a pervert and a pedophile over it. In the same sense. A pervert and a pedophile. And Jerry says to me, "Joe, you might get a visit from the precinct because we have to send this report to the precinct." And of course they did. But what happened was, I had to work all night Friday. Police never showed up. Same thing all day Saturday. Same thing. Never showed up. The cops never showed up to my door. Sunday, same thing. Never showed up. So by Monday, I spoke to Jerry from public safety. I told him that the cops never showed up. I was worrying all weekend. I had to be spend the weekend in jail or something. And for taking one picture of the playground. And Jerry says to me, "Joe, if the cops didn't show up by your door by now, I'm not going to." And Jerry says to me, "Joe, I know we had all differences and stuff, but I know you for a long time. I know you're a photographer. I know you have taken pictures of the co-op for your assignments for school and stuff. And I know that you don't especially because your photography take it very seriously. I know you don't take pictures of. I know you're not in the habit of taking pictures of the kids. I know you don't hurt kids. You don't hang out with kids. You don't even babysit kids. And I know you don't hurt them. And so I know for a fact that you're not even interested in kids, but much less, like a pedophile does. And I'm not sexually interested in kids. I said it a few times already in these videos. But regardless, I've got to label this. I got to label as a proven pedophile from this family. And over the years since then, in the 6.5 years since then, I'm still labeled from these people as a pervert and a pedophile. Still, 6 years later. Even though there's no proof, there's no evidence that I'm ever touched a kid in my life. And if you look, I'm sure that there are websites about registered sex offenders. You're not going to find my name there. Because despite what the Hellman family wants you to believe, that's just not the case. And to this day, I'm still getting crap from this family. And even getting crap from the woman that Jimmy was shanking up with. Because one time I was, they have the Thanksgiving decorations from Building 5 I took pictures of. And I posted them on the, on the page here. She saw me in the lobby taking pictures of the decorations. And she was threatening to call public safety on me because I was in the lobby. In case this idiot doesn't know, I used to live in Building 5 for 12 years. I still know people who lived in the building at the time I lived there. And still people that I know who lives in Building 5 at the time I lived there. 36 years ago. But I got threatened by this person. And I believe she was the person, the woman that Jimmy was involved with, and they had the daughter with. I think she was the one who was threatening to throw me out of, get me arrested for being in the building. I can imagine because I know someone, I'm not going to mention the person's name, whose husband died recently, and her apartment was the apartment that we took over in Building 5. Okay? So I know her literally my whole life. So I went to see her, my condolences to the husband had passed away. And I couldn't imagine what she would have said if she saw me in the building visiting this person. But unfortunately, this stuff is still going on. This garbage is going on, and then when I found out one of the guys from maintenance told me what Jimmy did with the bank. They did walk into the bank, the Queens County bank that's in our shopping center, and he stole almost $3,000 from the bank. And he got caught. I think he ran into, not Building 5, he ran into Building 4. Opened up the bag and the dye pack in the bag blew up in his face. And he blamed, or his family blamed what he did because of his medication that he was on. Because he recently had surgery to help control his seizures. And the medication he was on, like post-surgery medication, was messing up his brain. I ain't heard the devil made me do it type defense. That stuff, the devil made me do it defense didn't work, and this thing, I don't think it's going to work. And unfortunately, we never going to know that because I think it was like a little more than 5 months later he passed away. Unfortunately, I do feel sorry that his daughter is going to grow up without a father. I do feel sorry for her, but but all this stuff what's going on with Jimmy, it can't be that. And I'm sympathetic towards the daughter, but I am not sympathetic because I don't want to punish the daughter for what her father did. Towards me and towards by robbing the bank. And I don't want to punish the daughter for what he did. even though I reported her page, her account got removed. It's only because of what her father kept pushing my buttons all the time, and I figured, okay, could hurt him through her. That was my idea. Unfortunately, I did that. But that's what Jimmy pretty much pushed me to do it. But at the time, but unfortunately, the Helmet family and I are still, and we always quieted down quite a bit. But I still get crap about from people saying I'm a pervert and pedophile and that type of stuff. I just wish that all this, I'm just pretty much, after I do this video, pretty much over it. But unfortunately, I still go out and fight people who call me, who insist that I'm a pervert and pedophile, which I'm not. Anybody who knows me personally knows I'm not. And I can't believe it's talking about 45 minutes just on this. Because unfortunately, I have to do this video. Because if I type this thing, people are not going to know the context just by reading it. You can see my facial expressions and the tone of voice I'm using. It's this whole thing between the Helmet family and I has been a pretty unfortunate thing. And it's only because of this page that, because if the reason is they took it to heart. A lot of people take Facebook to heart in a lot of ways. But it doesn't make it right what Jimmy had done on the page, on my page, and other basically trashing me all over the place, making up stuff about my sister with a loaf of bread with fake opinions. And it doesn't make it right what he did. I mean, you could disagree with me all you want, and that's fine. But it doesn't make it right what Jimmy did. Make it. And I'm not making stuff up. I'm not in a habit of making up stuff. True, I have personal grudges against, the Border 2 and the Helmet family. But it doesn't change the facts of what happened. It doesn't change the fact of what he did. It doesn't change the fact of what Jimmy did. It doesn't change the fact of what Jimmy's family has done. Or what had done afterwards. Doesn't change a thing. But I just want you to understand what had happened. Or at least understand my side of the story. If you disagree with my side of the story, I'm not going to get mad at you. I'm not going to throw you off the page and stuff like that. I just want to know why you disagree with me. And if you happen to post a comment, from the link for this video, please tell me why you disagree with me. And not only for this video, but for any other topic that I post from that here on in, I'd like to know why you disagree with me and why you refuse to vote for me for the board of directors. I'd really like to know why. Even though I'm changing subjects here for a minute, but I really would like to know is why my vote total went down to a certain point. So to the point that it has. And I really would like to know, who knows, even though I ran on these rants about the election, but I haven't gotten any response at all from anybody. I really, 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 really haven't. And I know my voice is starting to go now. And so maybe some other time, I'll do another one of these videos or do another post about the post-election, board election drama that we had here. Go another rant about it. But I'll see. I'll see how this one goes and see what happens after that. I want to thank you all. I know this video is going to be a pain to upload, but I know it's going to be a pain for you to sit through because it's almost 50 minutes already at this point. But I want to thank you all for your attention. I want you to know and understand that I don't feel any ill will to the Helmet family anymore. I'm getting all my venom out of my system for doing this video, and I want to thank you all for watching, and hopefully I do more positive videos on the page after that. Who knows? But one thing I like to do is maybe continue doing videos on trying to combine people to run for the board with me as a united front against a certain board member who's going to be up for re-election in the 2021 election. We're going to get into more details maybe in the new year. If not in December, then definitely in the new year. We'll get into it more. Depends on how everything works out personally for me. Because I'm dealing with a lot of stuff right now, and I see what happens. God willing, everything will work out for me for me tomorrow, I hope. Which is a long story for another time. And I want to thank you all for watching this video, and catch you all next time, and catch you all around the co-op, I hope. Catch you next time.